Oh my God, we're live. Let me just get this thing up and running. So, Saturday night, 11:14 p.m. Little bit late. We'll fully admit. I'm just gonna send this out a bit. Not too much going on with me. I just do not have the motivation to record videos right now. I was like, I'll get my work done for tomorrow. Hold on. I fired up a last stream. Come on in to chat. All right, post that there, and then also post it on Facebook because people on Facebook want to get in on the action. At least I think they want to get in on the action. I literally have no idea anymore. Facebook's an interesting one because I really dislike the Facebook fan page setup. I think it's garbage, to be honest with you. I really do. I think it's garbage, and wow, the thumbnail on this thing is horrible. But I think it's garbage because of the way that they handle the algorithm stuff. Hold on here. Apparently I'm live, but no one's... How is it? Oh, it's private. Let's fire that up. No wonder there was no chat. That was dumb of me. And the thumbnail is just me going, ah. So, shows you how well I know things today, which is not well. Not well. Today's been, God damn, let me shrink that down. There we go. There we go. So we're gonna wait for people to jump in. We'll see what's going on, and we'll get a chat going for like an hour or so tonight. Mostly because it's, again, I don't know much else going on. I thought about playing Player Unknown, but then I was like, I gotta set up, like my chat and everything. So, all right, 12 people in here. How y'all doing tonight? If the webcam starts glitching, let me know. This thing is still unstable. What's going on, Mr. Shadow? Trouser, by all means, ask your questions. Oh yeah, Trouser, go ahead and ask your questions, man. Kevin, what's going on? Jaden, what up? Lord Bitterman, hello. Mike T, why is it telling me to say something? I don't like talking. You should always, I don't know, you chat in the thing. Why not put my film degree to use and make funny skits? Because my funny skits suck. I think I've shown people my funny skits and they're not very funny. So my passion is more writing than it is the production side of things. I like to do it, but it's not my cup of tea. So why not play a game? Is almost, I don't know. I'm just not like, I'm like tired today, man. I just don't feel like playing games today. I thought about it. I'm like, I got like Friday the 13th and Player Unknown and Injustice 2. And then I'm like, oh God, but do I really want to feel like jumping into those right now? So nah. And then I'm like, I'll just fire up a stream to chat for a while. Nathan Hendricks, life's interesting. life is interesting. Just doing my stuff, tomorrow doing a Memorial Day barbecue at my dad's house, although it's more of like just kind of a come hang out sort of thing. I'm going to bring the Nintendo Switch over. And then I think they're doing the test fire for ARMS. So I'm going to check that out with my younger brothers if they're there. And yeah, do all that. It's free Overwatch weekend. I have Overwatch, so I already own it, and I haven't played it in like a year. I know it's like a year old. I didn't play much of it. I didn't care for it. Maybe it's just the PS4 and I should play it on PC. I don't know, but we'll see. Oh, thanks a lot, Jaden. I really appreciate the $2 on that one. Hold on. Trouser asks, would I attend a woman-only showing of Wonder Woman and live stream the reaction? if I were to go, if that were to happen nearby, because there's no Alamo Draft Houses here in Washington, and if they were to do something like that here in Washington, I would go, and I would definitely record or live stream the getting in. And that's the whole thing too. Alamo has basically backed off. Like, it's just women only in name only. They even tweeted Stephen Miller and said, they hope he enjoys the show, because they know that it's a constitutional violation if they don't admit him in. They know that. Like, they know they're breaking the law if they try to stop him. It's more of a PR stunt, but it's one that I think like backfired to a certain extent, and they realized that, like, while they could definitely push like the pro women only screening via PR, legally speaking, it would be a fucking nightmare. And so I would not be surprised if they just kind of slowly retract everything with that. They just kind of back it up and back it up and back it up to the point of where by the time the screenings are rolling around, those who've already purchased tickets know what it is, but everyone else is just kind of none the wiser. That's what I'm thinking on that one. Have I thought about the smaller switch docks for portability? Do they have smaller switch docks? Because I want another one to put on my other TV. Like, I want one for in here and I want one for out there, so I can just go and then play and then be cool. Yeah, Nina, Washington would do that. It's a mess a lot of the times, like the Evergreen State College situation. Evergreen State College is not an exceptional distance from here. In fact, I actually was over in that area today. Not at the college. I was driving the South Puget Sound, just scoping it out with my girlfriend. Beautiful day today. God, gorgeous day today. And we drove past the college, and I was like, oh, that's where that thing is happening. And it was quiet. There was like no traffic. I didn't even think to drive over to the college to take a look, because apparently like the students are like still in charge, but today is Saturday and it's the holiday weekend, so I didn't really think there'd be much of a thing. Oh, you need to have the dock and then take it apart. So I just want another dock. You know, that's all I care about. Or if they had a portable dock where you could just like hook it into different TVs, that'd be cool too. Let's do a mentally screening of the next Batman film. No, it's so stupid to do that. Movies are the great unifier. We're supposed to go see movies together. It's an equalizer. Everyone there is the same. Doesn't matter who you are. You have two eyeballs on the screen, or one eyeball or whatever on the screen. You're watching the same thing. You're getting the same experience. It equalizes us, and trying to segregate that for the sake of scoring cheap political points is just asinine and wildly illegal. So thank you very much, Dominator. Yeah, I've got the big Spider-Man one and the smaller one, and I've got a couple wooden wall art ones. Everything behind this next week is going to get the wall art. I have to find my leveler so I can then make it all look pretty, but I'm going to decorate the entire wall. So Nina, I think Wonder Woman is going to be good. I've heard from multiple sources that it's very good. I'm going to go see it anyway, because I go see all these movies regardless. Like this situation right now involving the Alamo Drafthouse is not Warner Brothers' fault. But Warner Brothers needs to come out and say something about it. They say something about it, then it works out. What really bothers me though about all this is like the logical fallacies and the false equivalencies that people on both sides of the political spectrum have been lumping at this thing. Like people are trying to go, but there's ladies' nights at bars. Well, yeah, but men can still go. So it's not discriminating against one sex or gender. Anyone can still attend. But there's Curves ladies only gym. Yeah, because it's a private membership establishment. Like, that's a different story than a public accommodation. A public accommodation is a movie theater. Anyone can go in at any given time and purchase, entry into this thing or purchase the services. And you can't discriminate based upon sex. And it's just like, I've been explaining that all day. That might be one of the reasons why I'm just fucking bonkers tired. I have been on Twitter all day going back and forth over this, and that's my fault. I should have just not done it. I should have just gone out and enjoyed the day, come back, had dinner, watch John Wick 2, which I did, and then got to work. But instead, I'm just like arguing with fuckers on Twitter. And that's a futile process. I do not recommend that. God Emperor, I there's not much to talk about with John Wick 3. It might film later this year. However, all I know is I want Cassian to come back because straight up fucking Common is a badass actor and I want to see more of him. Will I be pre-ordering Dark Imperium? I don't even know what that is. So no. KC Monster, when I do my reviews for Throwback Theater, and even when I did them over here, I don't like a format when I talk about movies. I want to just talk about them, right? I just want to ramble on for 15 to 30 minutes sometimes because I feel like that's for my, like I don't want to be like, when I used to write reviews for video games for the website I worked for, it was very much structured. It was like, this. And then after a while, you're just like, oh God, okay, formula. So I figure if I do just kind of however I want to do it, then it's perfectly fine with me. So that's kind of why. But my film degree and my knowledge of film is more of like industry side of things, not so much the technical side of things. I mean, I honestly, or I obviously understand the technical side of things, but I like to look at it from like maybe like bigger entertainment industry picture if I can. And also I like to geek out on shit that I like. That's the entire focus of Throwback Theater, is to talk about things that I like more than not, or things I can find interesting tidbits to discuss, like if there's like a Ghostbusters 2, I will probably talk about that quite a bit, but I'll come at it from the same perspective I come at everything with, which is please don't suck. Please be good. Please entertain me. And I even went into Ghostbusters last summer, like fingers crossed, like, please don't suck. Please don't suck. Let me be wrong. I was okay with being wrong, but I wasn't wrong. And it was a nightmare. Am I going to stream Friday the 13th with the GDR? If GDR, yeah, I'd like to. I like GDR quite a bit. So, let's see. Am I aware of the allegations of plagiarism against the Witcher franchise? Andrea, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. I'm horrible with pronunciations. I've heard a little bit about that. There was another series that heavily borrowed, or The Witcher heavily borrowed from. It really depends on how you want to assign the claim of plagiarism, because you cannot copyright an idea necessarily. You can copyright and trademark specifics, character name, character location, so on and so forth. But ideas or themes, you're not necessarily able to copyright or trademark. So it becomes very much a slippery slope, because that was the case. You could look at movies like Die Hard and Under Siege are effectively the same movie. Terrorist takeover, an isolated, office building, or a U.S. battleship. It's like an ex special forces and a cop. Like similar themes, but they're ultimately like the same concept. So it's a different scenario. So it's really one of those things where I'd have to go back and I'd have to go and read all the Witcher books, which I haven't. I need to, because I've heard they're good. I want to get the audiobooks. And then I have to go look at the other ones and like contrast and compare and then see. So it's one of those things where like getting anyone, busted for plagiarism is very hard to do because of how broad and vast our creative processes are. So, Dark Imperium is the latest expansion of Warhammer 40K. Never played Warhammer 40K. Know what it is. Think it's pretty cool from what I know about it. I've never actually played it. So, yeah, no, a cop who plays by his own rules, original shit. Exactly. So, should there be a spinoff of John Wick? I would like to know more about the Continental. I'd like to know more about Ian McShane's Winston character. I'd like to know more about John Leguizamo's character. I really want Cassian, Common, who played him in the movie, to come back and have a larger part in number 3. I want the world to expand. John Wick 2 is one of those rare sequels that in some ways surpasses the original, in other ways is on par with the original, but at no point does it ever drop below the original. Those are just fantastic films. Like that, they're so simple. Like when I pitched the idea to my girlfriend about watching John Wick a few months ago, I hadn't seen it. Like I bought the Blu-ray the day the movie came out, and I just bought it because I heard it was good, but it ended up going in a bin, and I forgot that I owned it. And so I found it. I'm like, oh yeah, we could totally watch this. But I gotta sell it, to the girlfriend because it's like an action movie. It's violent and shit. And I'm just like, hey, you wanna watch a movie? And she's like, what do you got? And I'm all like, it's called John Wick. And she's like, what's it about? I'm like, well, basically Keanu Reeves is like a hitman for the mob. He retires. They come and they kill his dog. And she's like, no, I don't want to see that. I'm like, no. They kill his dog, but then he kills everyone. And she's like, okay, I could do that. And so we watched John Wick, and I was legitimately mad at myself for not having seen John Wick in theaters. So I did go see John Wick 2 when it came out in theaters, and I really, really liked it. So when it hits Blu-ray in a couple weeks, I'll be picking it up because I want to support that movie. I want to support that franchise, which is why I purchase them, because I want to support it. I want them to know that they have a fan in me, and I want to see more of that. So I don't play 40K, so I'm more gay than you, and you're a trap. Oh, Persephone, why don't you go do a video that you can beat me the punchline on, and then make sure to tell me about it because it's super important to you. You missed a super cool skull. Me too. Since Evan Reitman is at the helm of Ghostbusters projects, does it give you any hope? It does, actually. It gives me hope, the fact that Amy Pascal is not running the overall show and that Ivan Reitman is in charge. What I think happened in essence was Ivan Reitman knew he was being screwed. Like we've learned through the Sony hacks and everything else that Amy Pascal was doing everything she could to keep Ivan Reitman away from Ghostbusters. She wanted to go, she circumvented him to go right to Paul, who screwed it up. And we know that. And so Paul Feig even came out and said that the majority of the funds, like a lot of that $142 million budget or whatever, or $150 million budget, a lot of that went to the royalties of Ivan Reitman, Dan Aykroyd, and Bill Murray and shit. A lot of that money. So he didn't have as much of a budget to work with. That's his excuse. It's really funny. He blames everybody but himself. Like hands down, blames everybody but himself still. And it just cracks me up. Like I wanted that movie to be good, but I'm not gonna lie, I took a little bit of glee and watching it crash and burn, only because the studio and the director and the actors, they kept doubling down on this nonsense. But back to the point, Ivan Reitman, I think, wanted the movie to fail. It failed. Paul Feig isn't coming back to work on it. No sequel is going to really happen. Or if it does happen, it's going to be like Holtzman is going to be the only character that comes over. Otherwise, I don't think anyone else is going to come back. Kristen Wiig, I don't think is going to come back, because from what I could tell, she really hated working on the movie. Leslie Jones would probably come back because she's only on like 1-2 skits a week on SNL, right? Like there are weeks where you only see Leslie Jones for like 30 seconds, and that's okay because she's not funny. But Kate McKinnon has a rising star and everything else. So, but yeah, I think Reitman on board will do his best to right the ship. But at the same time, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. The franchise, I would say, forego the new movie, make it a continuation from Ghostbusters 2. A whole new crew taking on the ghosts. But we might run into the same problem that Alien Covenant is running into. The same problem with that is, how do you create a mythos from this kind of story? You know what I mean? Like, how do you create it? Like, that's the problem Ridley Scott's doing with Alien Covenant right now, is he's trying to create this mythos out of the xenomorphs, and it's turning him into something that you're going like, I don't understand. I mean, I get the themes here. I get what you're trying to do. I just don't see the end game. So how do you take the story of Ghostbusters, which is essentially just exterminators in New York, but spiritual exterminators, and stretch it out to like maybe a new franchise? because everyone loves the original Ghostbusters, but Ghostbusters 2 catches a lot of shit. Even though the best thing about the 2016 reboot of Ghostbusters is that in retrospect, it made everybody go back, or it retroactively made Ghostbusters 2 a better movie, which it was. What up, Tony? How are you, man? Evil Lord of the Internet, thoughts on Life is Strange, or any social issue. I've never played it. People have told me that it's got some SJW-esque content. Others who are like completely anti SJW, like people who have unfollowed me on Twitter and attacked me on a personal level for being SJW light or whatever, because I haven't disagreed with them on a hard-lined anti-SJW stance, have told me that Life is Strange is really good before all that shit went down. So I don't know. I want to play it. One of these days I'll get around to it, but it takes place in Oregon, which is cool with me. So I don't know. I don't have an opinion on it. Elijah Baldwin. Yeah, I got to do a video on Evergreen College. I've reached out to the professor to ask him if I could interview him for the channel. He was on Tucker Carlson tonight, so clearly he ain't going to give a shit about the guy like me, but I'm not too far away. I'm not too far away from that college. So if shit gets crazy, I'm going to keep an eye out for stuff. If shit gets crazy, I'm going to grab my camera and head down there, and I will fucking Periscope the shit out of that, or live stream on YouTube the shit out of that, so you guys can check it out. So, because I think that's gonna get crazy and whatnot. Of course, I'd have to blend in, so like I'll just smear dirt on my face and then look like a hippie, like, yeah, man, this guy's got to resign, man. And then it's like stickering, like, these people are idiots. Let's see here. Got a Spawn Freak says, what does it say about our culture when all seem to be sequels and remakes? Well, Spawn Freak, what that essentially means is that Hollywood is afraid of risks. It's not that they can't create original content. I mean, look, earlier I was talking about John Wick. John Wick, while a simple concept, is one of the most original action series in quite some time, because it is 100% fully self-aware of what it is. It doesn't pull any punches with the audience. It gives you a relatively silent yet kind of enigmatic and charismatic lead character. The villains are cool. The world is cool. John Wick, oh my God, John Wick is like basically a video game series, but it's a movie. If you really look at John Wick, that whole thing, look at how many dudes he kills in just a second movie alone. I tried counting tonight. I lost count pretty quick because I'm like, did he just kill 8 guys there? I mean, how many, you got to go back and look. But when it comes to Hollywood, they're afraid of risks. They're afraid of risks. They're afraid of bridging the international gap is the best way to describe it. They're afraid of not finding a home overseas, because we here in this country, while we still like to go to the theaters to see our movies, home video is doing very well. Look at Batman v Superman, for example. Batman v Superman did not do well in theaters. Well, I mean, it did very well, like 800 million or 900 million or something like that. But it didn't break the $1 billion mark. Critics ravaged it. Fans ravaged it. You figure it was going to be crap. You figure no one's going to, home video is just going to die. And then they come out and they say, well, we're going to release the R-rated 3-hour extended cut. I got that shit day one. Oh my fucking God, that was an amazing movie. I was blown away watching that. I'm like, why wasn't this in I was so mad. I was yelling at my TV watching this movie. I was yelling at my TV at like 11 in the morning, like, why wasn't this in fucking theaters? Why didn't I pay? I would have gone back 8 times to see this fucking movie. I really like the extended cut. But the thing was, the extended cut on that one did well on home video. And I'm talking 5 weeks. It was the #1 home video out there. And then The Killing Joke on Blu-ray was right underneath it for like 4 weeks. So these movies are doing well on home video wise, and people are buying them. And that's kind of where the market is here in the States, because people are either buying or renting because they can, get a 70-inch LED UHD 4K TV for not that much money, if you think about it, not compared to what it used to be, and then get a decent surround system, and then you can just sit at home and watch them. It's one of the reasons why, even at CinemaCon a few months ago, which I'm going to try to go to next year, but goddamn, it's like $1,000 to go to CinemaCon. I need a lot more views on $3 Theater to earn enough to warrant that shit. Seriously, $1,000, and that's even if you're in the industry. Like, they don't fuck around at CinemaCon. Like, Jesus Christ. But at CinemaCon, like, the studios, like Warner Brothers and other studios, are talking about kind of like a very quick turnaround from theater to home video, because they know that the market is dying in terms of theater, or it's not dying, but it's kind of plateaued, and big tentpole pictures are what are pulling in the dough. And I kind of chalk this up to being having a lot to do with the fact that we have 52 weeks in a year, right? How many movies come out? How many movies come out in a year? 120, 150? That's coming to theaters in the United States. Over 100 guaranteed. Do you have time to go see all of that? Oh, hell no. Hell no. No one does. So you miss shit outside of the shit you really want to see, which are the big blockbuster tentpole summer action extravaganza spectacle films, 3D IMAX, all that jazz. You want to go see those movies because that is where things are, right? And everything else, that's what people want to go see, and so everything else kind of hits the ground running on home video, and so they have to dumb things down in order to move it over to the foreign markets, right? They have, in China especially, because they're emerging middle class, so they're dumbing things down, not because the people in other countries are stupid. That is the saddest part. It's they're doing it in order to cross the translation barrier, is what they're trying to do, and it just becomes this gigantic nightmare. And so I've been on this huge tangent about why movies, why sequels and remakes are kind of all over the place, and that's a big reason for this. It's because Hollywood doesn't know what to do to get back to where they were back in the early 90s. No, 25 years ago, they were buying scripts for millions of dollars just to put it in a vault and forget about it. Like, literally, studios would get into bidding wars over screenplays, purchase it for millions of dollars because they had the money, and then they would just chuck it in a vault and forget about it because they didn't want the other company to get it. That is how petty and vindictive the industry was, and to an extent still is. But now you get people like Netflix, well, companies like Netflix, that are actually going out and giving creators the freedom to create how they want. And how many duds have you heard come out of Netflix? Not many, because they're not overproduced, they're not homogenized, they're not being designed to translate across 30 different fucking languages. So the jokes have to be dumbed down, the story has to be dumbed down, and all the relatable shit. They're starring new, interesting talent. Even established talent is coming into that marketplace, and they have the money to do it because people out there want it. It's not an issue of people not wanting the content and not willing to pay to an extent for the content. It's that the content that we're seeing in the big screen right now is not where the creativity is. It's where the sequels are. It's where the remakes are. And Hollywood is running out of ideas, and that will be happening. But I'm going to go into more detail on that in a $3 Theater video sometime this week. I've been wanting to do something about this. You kind of just, I could probably just take this entire chunk and then put it over there and then have that be the video. And I might do that because I'm lazy and it seems like an easy way to fill out content, but that should kind of answer your question. Schwann's Gruberman says, I still remember all the work you did for GG. Thank you. Thank you very much, Schwann. GG was a hell of a time, man. Hell of a time. It was, it was fun. GG, this is going to sound the weirdest thing ever, but GG essentially is the best thing that ever happened to me. And I know that sounds weird to say, because GG allowed me to grow enough when I desperately needed it to make this my full-time job and to allow me to do this full-time for the last 2 years. And so that to me is the coolest shit ever. So while it's been a bumpy ride, it's been a hard ride, I still cannot believe that it happened. And I'm thankful for it, and that's one of the reasons why that I still say that it's about ethics in video game journalism. I don't try to, I know there's a culture war in there as well, but to me, it's been about the ethics part of it and fighting for that. And that's what I feel a lot of us are still about. So Gamergate got you pussy and a job. Awesome, Nick. You have to tell me all about that. Wizard of Cause is going to be my roommate at VidCon in like a couple weeks. So we'll have to do a live stream where we just get drunk and talk about shit. Oh, the goof. I do want to do an open stream on Throwback Theater where we can talk movies for a while. They rush out movies faster than game makers rush out new games. Well, Jake, they kind of have to. They have to keep it coming. People want more. There's a reason why the Marvel movies were 15 movies in, and they're still extremely profitable. And there's 3 a year, is they want them. So GG did expose a lot of journalists. That's very true. Doubting Tommy, I'm sorry you're allergic to pussycats. I recommend shaving the pussy. It's a good way to get rid of the dander that you're allergic to. Also, the smell. Herder, thank you. I guess I'm cooler in chat and more. It's more, it's more natural flow. It's not like trying to tell a story and everything else. Hey, Reckless Eating, what's up, dude? Dude, VidCon, man, VidCon. We're doing a video together. You promised me months ago that we were going to collab on something at VidCon. It's in a couple weeks, dude. So we need to chit chat on fucking Twitter and set that up. Yeah, Evil Lord, what's your question, man? If I'm gonna be his roomie, just bring the damn movie to the con for him. Yeah, sure, do that shit. Hey, Dead Zed Walking, what's up, man? Thoughts on Mark Dice? Yeah, Mark Dice is like an American version of Paul Joseph Watson, just more entertaining. Oh man, okay. All he got at a Gamergate was being accused of being a misogynist. Oh, Persephone, we all were accused of being misogynists. Doesn't matter if we're straight, gay, or trans. Was killing Han Solo a risk? Killing Han Solo, I think, was the only way to get Harrison Ford to come back, because he went off for years about how he hated being the character. He really lamented interviews bringing that up. He used to wear a shirt that says, "I was Indiana Jones, Han Solo, and Blade Runner, and I'm over it." And then all of a sudden, leading into Force Awakens, he was doing every press junket, every promo tour, everything else. And as a result of that, like, he was gleeful in doing it, which led me to believe like he was going to probably die. Let's see. Hold on. Thoughts on the CW becoming DC's live action show universe? Who would have thought that Arrow could jumpstart an entire TV community? Arrow was originally supposed to be a Batman show. It was supposed to be a Batman show. They couldn't do it, and so they changed it to Arrow. And I mean, they still use all of Batman's villains. They were able to create enough of a good universe in there they decided to bring in the Flash. But honestly, I'm going to put it more on Grant Gustin's The Flash than I am going to put it on Arrow. Arrow laid the groundwork, but when they brought over the Flash and they had him in season 2 of Arrow, and just the fact that Grant Gustin is awesome as the character of Barry Allen, that laid the groundwork. Because here's what was going to happen with that is originally they were going to do, I think it was like episode like 21 or something of season 2 of of Arrow was going to be like a backdoor pilot for Barry. Barry gets struck by lightning, and then that was going to be the lead-in for a possibility of doing a show. But when they got him on the show, the reviews came in, people really liked him, they responded to him. So the CW said, screw it, we're not going to do a backdoor pilot. We're going to do an official pilot. We're going to put this thing out. And they went out and they shot it. And then and then it got leaked online. And when it got leaked online that summer, I had no intention of watching the show. I'm like, I don't really care. Arrow, I've seen Arrow. Like, I need to go back and finish it. I like it, but it was a bit too drab for me at the time. But I saw The Flash, the pilot for The Flash, and I was like, oh my God, I love this. Like, I just love everything about this. And my coworkers were huge DC guys. I'm a Marvel guy, they're a DC guy. So they're telling me all about Gorilla Grodd and the Reverse Flash, and they're like laying in all this villainry shit. I'm like, that sounds pretty fucking cool. And then I started watching the show, and I fell in love with the show right away. And I fell in love with that show. Season 2 of that show is I think just wonderful. Season 3, I'm waiting for it to finish so I can watch it all on Netflix, or finish the last half of it on Netflix. But then you get Legends of Tomorrow. Legends of Tomorrow I thought was a really good spinoff as well. I like that show quite a bit. Supergirl was a little bit rocky in the first season. I haven't seen this season yet. Again, it'll be on Netflix here pretty soon. So yeah, they've been able to jumpstart it, but I want to put it more on The Flash than I want to put it on Arrow. Arrow laid the groundwork, but The Flash is what kind of kicked it off and everything else. I think The Flash is the best show in that whole series. Now they're doing 5 shows. John Barrowman just announced that like he's off. He's not doing it anymore. And then like Wentworth Miller as Captain Cold still in limbo to an extent, and that was really odd considering the fact that between the like this season and last season, they had come out and they said that they were going to try this new thing where they were going to be doing these like contracts, these overall contracts with the actors like John Barrowman and Wentworth Miller that were going to basically put them in every series. They were going to be like roving characters through these different series, being like like how they would appear in comics and shit. And those were the 2 actors that they were going to do that with, and somewhere that fell apart. And I was really hoping they were going to do that because I think it's such a cool concept. But I think maybe they've bitten off more than they can chew to an extent. But then again, they also added a 5th show, so I got no idea. And Christian asks, do I think Wonder Woman's going to make a lot of money? I do. Spawn Freak, do I think that the MCU will run out of steam, especially with copywriting or with copy wrong good villains? With copyright keeping good villains. That okay. Here's the thing with the MCU. This is what we need to expect because this is probably what's going to happen, and they've laid some serious groundwork for this. So the current tier of MCU characters, Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, Black Widow, Hawkeye, whatever, Hulk, their contracts are coming to an end with those actors. And yeah, they can keep putting money into Robert Downey Jr. and they are. Like they paid him like $40 million for fucking Civil War, right? And that was a whole big thing all into itself. But if you really follow the trades right now, post Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, or Volume 2, you can see where things are going. And it's not on this planet, essentially. What they're doing is they are moving out into the cosmos. They're moving away from the current lineup of characters because those contracts are running up and running out, and they want to bring in more characters, and they can't do more Captain Americas and more Thors and then add on Spider-Man and Black Panther and Ant-Man and everything else in the meantime. So they're looking to move further out into the heavens. In fact, actually, after Avengers 3 and 4, which are currently being this event film right now, so happening in 2018 and 2020, they said today that don't expect Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 until after the Avengers Infinity Saga is over, and that won't be until 2019. So we should expect Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 to drop probably the beginning of May 2020. It just seems to make sense. They're on about a 3-year cycle for those particular films. And the thing you have to keep in mind about that, though, is that Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is going to kickstart the next phase. And it's not like it's going to start off phase 4. Well, that might actually start phase 4, or at least be one of the first films of phase 4. But they're not even really talking phases anymore post this particular situation. They're talking about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 setting up the films in the MCU for the next 10 years. I'm not even kidding you. The next 10 years, they want to set it up with Guardians. And also Guardians 3 is the last movie with those specific characters being the core. And if you've seen Guardians of the Galaxy 2, you know that there's some characters that make an appearance and the end credits of that thing that are actually the original Guardians of the Galaxy in the comic books. And so kind of teasing them will kind of showcase how they're going to expand upon the Guardians and then maybe branch them off for future films. So Marvel will not run out of steam if they keep bringing in new characters and keeping to an overall continuity, leading to a larger event film. And that's the thing. If they can set up these event films every 8-9 years, which is so weird to say, or maybe 10 years, they have a huge event, they have like their build up, like their team up films like the Avengers, and then that leads to a big event film. That could be something where you could see them doing that and then keeping it fresh along the way. So every 10 years, they just kind of reboot things, new characters, new stories, and then they lead to a big event. They end it, they move on from there. It's a sustainable business model. It's sustainable as fuck. Disney knows how to market. They know how to merchandise. They know how to sell it. Fans want it. Fans are going. These movies are only getting bigger. And if they can keep that momentum going, then they'll be okay. I think they'll be okay. And I will say this, though. I really did think that this was going to be like the worst one. I did. I thought this was going to be the worst one when I first saw the trailer, and I fucking adore this goddamn movie. So recently, Best Buy had a sale. I was able to pick up. I didn't have these two yet, and then I got those all together for a good price because I don't always buy them head on. Cowl Jarwolf says DC can make the next Casablanca and it would get 0 out of 10 across the board because it's not Marvel. You're not entirely wrong. There is a huge bias against DC, and it's not entirely because DC makes the best content. They need to go back to 0 with their producing team, and they need to start focusing on the fun. You know, as much as I loved the deconstruction of Clark of Superman and Man of Steel, his kind of rise to prominence, and him battling, you know, what his father had told him out of fear. I loved what they did with Jonathan Kent. People get really mad at that entire scene of like, was I supposed to let him drown? And then the whole maybe, like, people are like, that is not Superman. No, but that's a human response. And the entire concept of Superman is a god on Earth who is acting as a human trying to save humanity, also trying to understand the complexity and fragility of human life. And I felt that Zack Snyder really did a good job with that. And I really liked Batman v Superman extended cut because they gave you a bit more of Clark. And that was something that was wholly missing from BVS. BVS was more of a Batman movie than it was a Superman movie. You watch the extended cut, and it's an even mix. So that's what I like about that and everything else. Someone should make Alien answer the call and have the Ghostbusters cast get killed by aliens. Lord Bitterman, yeah, I agree. I like Alien Covenant. It wasn't the best thing ever. I thought it was better than Prometheus. Still predictable. Something I will definitely buy when it comes out to add to my collection. And I want to see what they do with it. But they need to stop making it about some mythos that it can't be. But then again, it's like, how do you take a franchise and push it out like that? I don't even know yet. DC has more interesting characters, Mr. Shadow. I definitely agree with you on that one. They have more interesting villains, that's for certain, but they need to start focusing on the character pieces versus the ensemble. As much as I liked Suicide Squad, I completely understand the criticisms about it. Thoughts on Spider-Man 3? You guys are gonna fucking hate me so much. I liked it a lot. Oh man, the dancing Peter Parker thing cracked me the fuck up. The whole emo Spider-Man thing, I really liked it. I'll tell you guys why. I understand that Sam Raimi doesn't like Venom. I get that. I know he doesn't like Venom. I know he didn't want to do it, and I know the Sony execs forced him to do it, so he kind of shoehorned it in. I get that. But the idea of the symbiote suit being making you kind of like the exact opposite of your personality, I feel really played into that. Especially being Peter, like if you look at like Spider-Man 2, when he, psychosomatically loses his powers and everything else. He's like this, he goes back to being meek and being everything else. That was kind of a play on that. Like, what would be the exact opposite of that? And that was what we got in Spider-Man 3. Was it a bit overloaded on villains? Absolutely. But it was one of the first movies in IMAX, actually. There was a big IMAX push back then. That was 10 years ago. Holy fuck me. It was 10 years ago. So what it was is in Southern California, you had one IMAX, and that was in Irvine, California. And that was the only one south of Los Angeles. It was like 100 miles north and shit. And then it was 300 came out in IMAX, blew up really good, big in IMAX. So then all the theaters started really kind of like clamoring to get faux IMAX screens. So they started retrofitting a bunch of their auditoriums in order to do that. And San Diego got one, and I actually went. They opened it, they premiered it with Spider-Man 3, and one of my friends actually was the projectionist on that. So I got to go up there and see the IMAX projector, and all of its glory. And so for me, that was another reason I liked Spider-Man 3, was my experience going there was in a new technology in this new theater. I got to go up and see how it worked. given the fact that I was, managing the drive-in at the time and I was working on 35 millimeter film every single day, going up to the projection booth and seeing the behemoth 70 millimeter print of Spider-Man 3, I was like, oh my God, it's scary. It's so intimidatingly huge. It's scary because it takes you 8 hours there's like 80 reels that that movie comes on. It's like, it's so fucking huge. It's so massive. But it's in the end, I enjoyed Spider-Man 3. Is it the best movie ever made? Fuck no. Is it the best Spider-Man movie ever made? Fuck no. That goes to Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2 is better than Spider-Man 1. Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man 2, those are near perfection in both cases. Spider-Man 2 more so than Spider-Man 1. But Spider-Man 3, I don't think Raimi wanted to do it, and I think he did it because he was under contract, and I think they kind of forced his hand, and yeah. But hey, now Spider-Man's back with the MCU for the time being, at least, and we should be pretty good on that one. So do I know Max Scoville and Adam Sessler? I do know. I know Adam Sessler knows who I am. That's for fucking certain. Scoville, I know who he is. I don't give a shit about that guy. That dude to me is like, he very much will jump ship to whatever is most profitable for him. First he was on Destructoid doing that, and then he jumped over to Rev 3 with Adam Sessler, thinking he was going to get bigger from that. Rev 3 crashed and burned, but Scoville saw the light. He saw what was coming, and he jumped out first, and then went over to IGN. He's been on IGN, but he's on there with Brian Altano, whatever the fuck, and I don't like that guy at all. He's just a smug, condescending douche. So I don't watch their Up at Noon show. Every time it pops up on Facebook, I just scroll past it. So in my opinion, what is the game of the year so far? So far this year, game of the year is going to either be Horizon Zero Dawn, which is just fucking phenomenal, or PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, because I fucking love PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds. I really like it. Do I think the new Spider-Man will be better than 1 and 2? I don't know, Elijah. I don't know. I do not know. The director is kind of like Mark Webb, kind of an indie director coming on into this big budget spectacle film, but Marvel is handling it. This last trailer I really liked, but I did feel that it gave a bit too much of the emotional plot points that I feel may have actually just been damaging to the film itself. So that's my take on that one, essentially. Basically it's that. I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping it's going to be good. I've got a couple IMAX tickets that I'm going to go and save for that. IMAX hit me up. They're just like, check this out. They're like, oh, hey, we heard that you saw Fast and the Furious. Do you want some Fast and the Furious swag? And I'm all like, all right. So they sent me this Dom's Ice Charger, which it's black in the movie, but this case it's silver. And then they sent me IMAX tickets that are good until the end of the year. So I'm saving those for Spider-Man. What do I think of Bane as Venom? Emmanuel, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to tie it in. And until I know how they're going to tie it in, I'm really reserving judgment, because if it's not done the right way, people are going to get pissed off. Hey, what's up, Jack? Just like crack, my schedule is whack. Tonight was an impromptu stream, bud. Tonight was an impromptu stream. Tomorrow night will be 10 p.m. Pacific Standard, back on stream times. I'm thinking about not doing gameplay this week, just doing more of a chit chat with you guys and everything else, or maybe doing Friday the 13th, mixing it up. People have been wanting me to get on, bring in other YouTubers and everything else, but I stream so late, it's going to be hard to do that. But I got to talk to some people and see what's going on. So save it for Star Wars. Christian, I'm going to go see Star Wars. Well, my Star Wars viewing might be inhibited by something. We'll have to find out. I don't know yet. Talk about how Orville greater than Discovery. Orville looks like Orville looks to me like Seth MacFarlane went to Paramount and said, okay, or because he did, when was it? He did Ted 2 and A Million Ways to Die in the West. So those movies, I really liked A Million Ways to Die in the West, even though the marketing completely killed it in terms of showing you every fucking joke. It showed you 2 of the 3 fucking cameo appearances. It showed you the Doc Brown cameo appearance in the trailer That was the stupidest move that more Universal could have done. Anyway, what I think happened is I think that Seth MacFarlane took the idea of the Orville to studios, probably Paramount or probably Universal, because he has a deal with them for features, and said, like, I want to do this as a movie. And they looked at it and they were like, no. Probably. That's probably what they were thinking. Because, like, A Million Ways to Die in the West and Ted 2 failed to perform as well as Ted did. And so he probably took it to whatever company's doing it now and pitched it as a pilot, and then pitched it to Fox, where he still has clout at Fox because the Family Guy and everything else. And so they probably went that direction. But I have a feeling that the Orville was originally designed as a movie, as a Galaxy Quest-esque spoof of the Star Trek type world. But they said, let's do this on TV versus have it be a movie. Probably because of the fact that Alan Rickman died last year, and then there was all of a sudden talk of a Galaxy Quest reboot for Amazon. That was actually in talks. They were talking about bringing Galaxy Quest as a TV series to Netflix or to Amazon, but with Alan Rickman passing, that pretty much is gone. So that is, unless they do it and they don't include him, which would be unfortunate, but that could be something as well. But I think it's going to be really funny. And Adrian Paladaki's in it too, and I'm bored with that. So thoughts on Adam Sandler's new movie getting standing ovation? Adam Sandler is a good actor when he wants to be. When he legitimately tries to be a good actor, he can bring it, right? Watch Punch Drunk Love. Watch Spanglish. Watch Reign Over Me. Reign Over Me, he plays a widower of his wife and child were killed in 9/11. And he's just crumbling mentally and internally as a result of it. It's a fucking heavy-ass movie. Actually, on the first date with my girlfriend, we went back to her place and we watched it. We also watched Idiocracy, but we watched them in reverse order. So we started with Idiocracy, and then we went to Reign Over Me. That was just talk about killing the mood of that date. But the point is like, Adam Sandler is a good actor. I don't think he cares about the movie he makes, but I think if someone wants to challenge him, he'll try it. So there we go. That's pretty much what I'm thinking about that one right there. What do I think of Star Trek Discovery? I don't know. I'll have to see it. I'm pretty sure they'll screen it at Comic-Con. So I'm pretty sure. Thoughts on Hillary's recent commencement speech? She was the wrong person to be dissing Donald Trump in public like that. Don't get me wrong. That was a grade A burn. Grade A burn. That was a fantastic, great burn. No better burn. She did a good job on that burn. Wrong person to give her the burn. All right. That comes across as sore loser right there. It's total sore loser mentality was that particular burn. And it didn't do anything for her image, in my opinion, even though I have a feeling they're going to try to push Chelsea Clinton and Hillary. I don't want Hillary for a 2020 run. No one trusts her. She wouldn't win. But the DNC is still playing the same ball they were playing beforehand. They are the same game. They're not changing it up. So I don't know. What are my thoughts on the Friday the 13th game? Doubting Tommy. I played it. I streamed it the other night. It's a lot of fun. I need to get in there now that the servers and the day one patch are updated, but it is a lot of fun. China landed on the moon. That I haven't heard. Tom Rothman or Amy Pascal, who's worse? Tom Rothman, because that motherfucker passed on Deadpool in 2009. And it took somebody at Tim Miller's production company to leak that footage in order for it to be where we are. But the fact is, man, that's one of the best things that ever happened in movies, I think. They're talking Michelle Obama for 2020. Michelle Obama won't run for president. Michelle Obama would run for like state senator or something. She would run for a state senator seat, but I don't think she would run for president. The Rock 2020. I don't think The Rock's going to run either. That was a publicity thing. What do I think about games journalism leading more towards social justice? It's been there for years, and I call it out as much as I possibly can. So, yeah, the DNC is pretty fucked out, Emperor. Yeah, this would be a time for like the Young Turks Justice Democrats to step in and do some stuff. I just don't want Cenk Uygur anywhere near politics. The Great Brown Buffalo should just fuck off and like not come back. Aaron Ra is running for Congress. Come on, dude. Don't fuck with me on that one. Are you fucking with, please tell me you're fucking with me on that one. Please tell me. No. That's not as bad as Brianna Wu, but that's still pretty bad. Broken Exodus games. Sorry, it's being asked, but what do you think about being called? Hold on. What do you think about being called out by a few YouTubers saying that you use things to push your agenda? Can you please provide me with some examples? I'd like to know that because I haven't seen anything. If The Rock won, then Idiocracy be a real thing. Sure. We need an independent prez. I agree. Let's see. If Bernie ran in 2020, how would we stop the DNC from fucking him over again? If Bernie ran in 2020, no one else the DNC put forward would be able to even remotely compete. They wouldn't even be able to remotely compete. Bernie would fucking take it. The only person that probably might have a shot, and I mean this like literally, Biden. Because Biden came out and was like, that he said he laid some shade at Hillary Clinton. He was like, she was a good candidate, but like then he goes, I would have been a great candidate. And like, yeah, Biden would have beaten Trump. But Biden didn't want to run. And I don't blame the guy for not wanting to run, but he might come back in 2020. I wouldn't be surprised. Should Gamergate have started with Mass Effect 3 when journalists Spawn Freak, that was one of the things that led to Gamergate. That was one of the things that led to that. But you got to understand too, when it comes to that situation with Mass Effect 3, it wasn't just Mass Effect 3 and BioWare at that time. A month earlier was the whole Jennifer Hepler situation. You know what I mean? And so like gamers were already not looking forward to what they were, the social justice side of things. Even though we weren't really calling it social justice warriors back then, they weren't really looking forward to a lot of the shit that was coming out of BioWare at the time. And it just happened to be the icing on the cake that the ending of the game was so horrifically bad. So it led the way. It led the way. 2 years, like what was it, 2 years later or a year and a half later, it was just another. No, this was 2012. So it'd be like two and a half years later almost is when it hit. And that was the thing. So I didn't see Pop Trigger's take. Pop Trigger, that's the TYT wannabe hip thing, right? I did not. Shawnee Mac, you gotta go. Yeah, just look up PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds. It's great. So let's see here. Hold on. I want to see Ant-Man director mocks male outrage. Oh god, who's directing Ant-Man? Is that Adam McKay? Did he direct it? No. It was Peyton Reed who directed that. The thing is, people are mocking it, not understanding that like it really is a violation of someone's of their civil rights. Like if they were actually denied entry into the theater and someone there actually said it's because you're a male, then that is a direct violation and something that would result in a lawsuit and a win. Like, I mean, like if it was me, I would go, this is what I would do. Like straight up, this is what I would do. I would go. And if they discriminated against me, I would sue them. And then they'd go, what do you want? I'd be like, I want you to close birthmoviesdeath.com. But no, Devin Ferralsi isn't there anymore. So I would just want that out of spite. Out of pure spite. I got Emperor. I watched the Young Turks. I will admit, I watched the Young Turks because for one, YouTube really promotes them in the algorithm. Two, they talk about things I find to be relevant and interesting. I don't necessarily like their takes on everything, but they bring up stories that I talk about sometimes. So I'm curious to know what they say about it. And at the same time, I'm like, part of me deep down, deep somewhere in here, wants them to go back to where they were when they actually were more of a centrist, progressive, non-social justice warrior horseshit. I want them to go back to actually having debates about things and not just seriously sucking their own dicks all the time in their own echo chamber. Go back to that and I'd be a lot more happier. But in the meantime, I just kind of watch them reluctantly. Like I posted a picture on Twitter tonight where it was like Trump and trumpets cucked by Saudi Arabia. And I'm like, stop. You don't even know how to use that fucking word correctly. Like you don't even know how to use the word cucked. What are you talking about? and it was one of the, like, this thing they're doing called The Breakdown, and it's like this heavily edited, meant to be sarcastic take on certain things, and it's just it's very condescending and smug, and it was just dumb as shit. So our TYT, are they advertiser friendly? They're probably advertiser friendly because they're one of the, YouTube supports them constantly. Do I think Blade Runner 2049 will be better or worse than the original or Ghost in the Shell? Probably better than Ghost in the Shell. I enjoyed Ghost in the Shell for what it was, but it was a very simple take on that story. But I'm hoping that Blade Runner 2049 is good. It looks pretty decent. So, yeah. Oh God, what was it? Fucking Anna Kasparian. I think they were like talking about the Wonder Woman thing, and she brought up a line about like the men that are upset about this are the ones that like are mad about the Armenian genocide. Like, she actually mentioned the Armenian genocide in a broadcast, and it was one of those things where I'm going like, but you're Armenian and you're kind of still talking down about the Armenian genocide. Like, oh my God, the brown buffalo has you so screwed. Shawnee Mac, I'm not playing Overwatch during the free weekend. I own Overwatch. I don't really play it very often. So Battery, I'm not disagreeing with you. That's when Chank is giving political analysis, but he plays it up so much sometimes, or it's just like, ugh. I mean, granted, look, as a content creator, as a personality on this platform, there are times I overplay certain things for effect. I get it. We just have a different take on what it is. So, the TYT panelists are more annoying. Yeah, no, I agree. They are super annoying. Exori, YouTube wants to silence creators by making anti-SJW vids, or are making, I'm assuming you mean like unmonetizable. No, they're still pretty monetizable, man. It's not about necessarily what kind of content. It's also, there are certain things, but it's also like how you cover it. You know what I mean? If you put like certain words in the title and the description and tags, then it's going to get, but I make anti-SJW videos all the time, and I'm still getting ads on them. They ain't paying shit. They ain't paying shit, but I'm getting them. And I know people out there aren't really liking the Amazon ads in front of the videos, but that's helping a little bit. I gotta stop advertising movies though, because the fucking fee schedule and that's horseshit. But anyway, so Lord Bitterman, maybe you're right about Thunderfoot and the backlash over Brexit. I think it was a backlash over Brexit, the backlash over the Trump, and the backlash over Lauren Southern, as well as the attack on his father when his dad died of cancer. I think there's a number of factors that went into that. I still like Phil. I have nothing against him outside of this incident, because I feel like this is coming at it from an emotional, non-logical response, and that's understandable given the circumstances. But I still think that he's wrong. So, yeah, Noah. Yep, got to make that paper. Comic Exchange. I don't know why you're not getting notified. I fired this thing up about an hour ago. You think Breath of the Wild should win game of the year? Sure. That's a really good game. Oh, okay, Broken. That's who called me out and why I'm leaving the skeptic community. That's what he's referring to. Thunderfoot didn't necessarily call me out as much as he called out other people on that stream. Never mind the fact I was also on that stream. I was there. I was there too. What it was with that is he was more or less, I think, going after my arguments about Second Amendment. You know what I mean? Like, the Second Amendment isn't to blame for Russian Deadpool killing Ivy. It's just not it. It's just, that's not it at all. And he wanted to blame it on that. Clearly there was issues there. There were drugs that were taken that we heard. I don't know if that's even true anymore, but the dude clearly had problems. And, a gun isn't an autonomous object. And I even posed that question to like family members who are like totally anti-Trump, totally fucking left-leaning shit. And I'm like, what do you think? And they're like, yeah, no, a gun doesn't shoot itself. So it's like, if someone gets stabbed with a knife, okay, the dude in Portland who killed the two people yesterday, they tried to intervene on him being, xenophobic and shit. Like, that dude is a fucking monster. But you don't hear anyone out there today saying ban all knives. He slashed 2 dudes' throats on a Max train, and no one is saying hashtag ban all knives. Right? And then no one's coming out as a response to that by hashtag all knives matter. So it's just like, again, it's a talking point. Oh my God. I almost lost my shit on Twitter the other day. Some girl came back to me and said that that part in that video, what I was talking about in that Thunderfoot video, she claimed, was a right-wing talking point. That talking about mental health issues is a right-wing talking point. And I almost lost my collective shit at that. And I was so fucking furious. I'm like, how can anyone sit there and legitimately say that anyone talking about the destigmatization of mental health issues in this country, and not just this country, society at large, because, you can't see mental scars on the outside, is a right-wing talking point. Like, I was flabbergasted at that shit. I thought it was just insane. I cannot believe that. Like, I looked at my phone and I was like, wow, you are a gigantic cunt. Just a huge, festering, pus-filled, roach fucking goitered cunt. Like, that just pisses me off. But I've been dealing with that all day today too. That's the problem. I really need to get the fuck off of Twitter. I do. I need to get the hell off of Twitter, because there is just nonstop nonsense on there. No, Nathan. Okay, yeah, don't agree with banning guns, but you're pro reasonable gun restrictions. I am pro people getting more mental health checks. You know what I mean? Like, because you can't start restricting certain amendments for certain people because of a fear. It doesn't work that way. You cannot. That's not equality. But destigmatization of these issues, these mental issues, I think would really help out. The Portland slasher was a Bernie bro. I did hear that too. I have an article up here about that. Again, my energy level today, for those of you guys who are popping in, I didn't have a motivation to do videos today. I was just like, I was arguing with people on Twitter about the Wonder Woman thing all day, and it zapped all my energy. And I'm like, so yeah, I didn't talk about that. I want to maybe tomorrow. It's such a tough thing. My girlfriend took that train. To work every single day. I'm not kidding you. She took that train to work every single day. This happened past where she would get off, but there are crazies on the Max. There are crazies on that thing all the damn time. People spouting off shit. I almost got into a fight with dudes on the Max once because they were vaping on the Max. Not like they were inside. We're like, we're coming out of this tunnel, and they start vaping, and like there's, and I look at them like, you guys know there's no vaping here. And the guy tries doing that whole fucking, oh, well, this isn't really like, it's just water vapor. It's just water vapor. And I'm all like, yeah, fucker, I know what it is, but there's fucking kids here, so don't vape inside. And this friend was like trying to like, whatever. And I'm with 2 dudes who are way bigger than me. Also, they are older, like 40s and late 40s. So I don't think there wouldn't have been much of a fight, but I fucking stared these guys down. And they got off at the next stop and shit. And I'm all like, no, there's kids here, fucking back off. So I mean, there's crazy fuckers on that train. But my girlfriend takes that shit when we used to live there every day. So she would tell me stories all the time. And if there's ever like a protest downtown, of which there's lots of them in fucking Portland, she sent me pictures and shit. So I'm really glad that we moved away. I feel horrible that it happened, but like the selfish part of me is like, I'm glad we're not living there right now. Fuyu says, after years of being bullied, I know how important it is to have mental care there for everyone. It helps everyone from the smallest to the biggest problem. Exactly. We need to have more people who are open with expressing their problems, even if it is with an unbiased third party. If you can put your issues out there, even if it's just to the ether, you will feel better. A lot of this shit comes from just bottling it up. One of the things I love about doing this job is that I get to express myself on a multitude of fucking situations all the damn time. So it really does help out. But still, I need to go find a therapist. I've been wanting to do that just to like get through certain things that, that this level of cathartic action doesn't take care of. And again, my health insurance sucks because it's Obamacare, and it's like, I can't even use it. So I don't even know. So is it legal to carry a sword in public? I think it is, provided it's not concealed. So thanks a lot, Bogsy. I appreciate it, man. It's good I don't live in that crazy place. The thing is, Portland used to not be that crazy. But even where I'm living now, I was driving to the store the other night, and this dude literally walks in front of my car. Like, I'm driving to go get groceries. It's raining out, so I'm trying to see, and that we're coming up on this intersection, and my girlfriend calls it out, so I slow down, and this guy is standing in front of my car. I almost didn't see him. He moved in front of my car, and he's just like, "What's up? What's up?" And I'm all like, "What the fuck?" And he starts making his way towards my driver door, so I just locked the door and went around his ass, and then I came back that way a little bit later on the other side of the road, and he wasn't there. So there's crazy people fucking everywhere. But I mean, this dude who killed the two people yesterday, that's evil. That's fucking evil. And it's like, someone said that he hit his head. I gotta look into that a bit more. Everyday feminism is shutting down. Mr. DJ Fly High. I don't know if they are. I know they have a crowdfunding campaign to stay afloat. If everyday sexism closes, I won't cry, because they misconstrue so much shit for fucking clicks and hits and all that crap that, I'm not going to be sad if they go. Pacific Northwest is off its meds. Really, this is legal here. It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird that this is legal here. This is my Slender Grill hunting stick. Some of you guys know what this is. It's not tobacco. Unfortunately, the U.S. won't do anything about mental health, since the prisons make so much money preying on the mentally ill. Mr. Shadow, I actually don't disagree with you on that one, and that is unfortunate. Yeah, what is it? Vape Nation. God, I actually hope I get to meet Ethan and Gila at VidCon. I would be fucking happy if I got to meet them. So butterfly knives are completely legal in NYC, but cops will still bust you for not knowing the law. Yeah, you got to know the law, man. You got to know the law. It really does help to know the law. Tony, you want me to tell a story? Let me think of one to tell you guys. Thoughts on Roger Moore's death? It's sad, man. It's sad. I like Roger Moore a lot. Not my favorite Bond, and I mean that in oh, he's not my favorite Bond, like blah blah blah. No. Love him as Bond. My favorite's Connery, but I still love the more Bond films. It sucks that he passed away, but he was 89. He lived a good life, man. Like, you get to that age, and it's like you feel sad, but it was almost like, it wasn't like Alan Rickman and David Bowie and Prince like dying all close together. It was like, and from cancer and ODing, it's like, this was just, I think, natural causes in 89. So I mean, it sucks, but that's a good life. Like, I hope to make it to 89 years old. I hope to make it to 89 and preferably die in a 69. So sing us the song of Slender Grill. Don't have a song for Slender Grill. What about the press suggesting that Far Cry 5 is based around today's politics? Same thing I said. This game wasn't created in a bubble, wasn't created in a vacuum. They've been working on it for a while. Militias in the United States, religious fundamentalist militias in the United States, are nothing new. They're nothing unheard of. They're nothing uncommon. This is just taking that and telling that story. It has nothing to do with Trump's America, and it's entirely retarded to make a claim that it does. Jim and Gore, I already talked about Mark Dice earlier. Quickly, just to recap, he's like an American version of Paul Joseph Watson. Just way more entertaining. Gotham or Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I like Gotham, but I like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because it ties into the larger narrative. Kind of. Hey, what's going on, RoboP? Thanks for coming in, man. How are things in Sydney? You guys getting ready for your winter? It was like 85 degrees here today, or what would that be in Celsius? I don't know, man. It was 85 degrees Fahrenheit here. You do the math. Roger Moore was struggling with cancer. That totally sucks. The Far Cry 5 stuff is stupid. I can't wait to get my hands on it next year. I think it's gonna be fun. Hey, Juan Luis Palacios Perez. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that third name. Thank you for coming in from Colombia, dude. That's fucking awesome. You just want a Far Cry 3 prequel that stars Voss? Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Voss is one of my favorite video game villains. Him and Pagan Min are both fantastic. And I wanted more Voss. He died too early in the game. Have I ever been to Arlington, Washington? Maybe. I've been to Arlington, Texas. So I don't know. Can't wait for Monster Hunter XX on the Switch. Fuck yeah, dude. Fuck yeah. That's going to be a lot of fun. To the Google machine to check out what Fahrenheit is. I don't know. Mary Fuck Kill, Lacey Green, Anita Sarkeesian, Riley Dennis. Arlen, Texas. No, I've never been to Arlen, Texas, but I've been to Arlington. God. Abyss Walker, I'm not too sure. Whoa, holy shit, Jack Barnhart. Thank you so much, dude. I know. Vape Nation. Tell you what, man. I don't like to smoke indoors. My window's open. There we go. This is a celebratory Vape Nation for my homeboy Jack, who just dropped a fatty donation on the chat. I gotta charge that. Okay. So I'm gonna get yelled at for doing that in the house. Turn that off. Oh my god. So I fuck Mary Kill Anita Riley. I would probably let's see. I would kill Riley because Riley annoys me. Fuck Lacey, marry Anita. Yeah, Anita, because she gets that victim bucks, dude. She gets the victim bucks. You want me to make a Spotify playlist and share it with fans? Just go to Doomflame. Just go on Spotify and type in 90s mix, and that's anything that's a 90s, like a 90s top 40 mix is generally what I listen to. So 22 degrees Celsius is 71.6 degrees Fahrenheit. I will keep that in mind, RoboP. I'll keep that in mind. Easy Logic. Yeah, I did see the video about Bill Burr and One Punch Man, dude. Okay, here's the thing. This is a quick PSA for all 165 of you guys in here. Hold on, let me take a look, see what day it is. Tuesday the 30th of May 2017. F is for Family Season 2 drops on Netflix. If you have not seen F is for Family, you are missing the fuck out. What's up, John Thunderbird? You are missing the fuck out if you have not seen F is for Family. It is 6 episodes of animated comedy greatness. It's on Netflix. It's R-rated as fuck. Bill Burr is in it, Justin Long, Laura Dern. You will be on the floor with laughter about 2/3 of the way through episode 5. God damn it. That had me on the floor the first time I saw the series. So if anyone else here has seen that, it's an animated comedy show and it's 6 episodes. Season 2 drops a couple days. I think that's 13 episodes. Yeah, Herder. F is for Family is amazing. Did I do my inner Philly D? Yes, I did. Smash Fox, fuck you. It's not okay. It's great. I will build a wall and I will put you fucking through it. Better than American Dad or Family Guy? Actually, yeah, Tony Diamond. Yeah, it is. It's that good. Do I eat fish and chips with my hand or a fork? I do it with a fork, dude. I don't like my hands getting greasy. I'm not lying. I'm very particular about my hands. Like, I wash my hands to the point, like, I have to, because of all the years working with food and stuff. I have to have, like, moisturizer. I have like a couple things of this with me at all times because my hands, they dry up so quick, and I don't like anything on them outside of a little bit of this. And so yeah, I with the fork. I know, go fucking figure. Have I watched the Voltron Legendary Defender? I have not. So Azzy Mazzy, when you donate via super chats, they don't you can't take that back at all. Rational Skeptic says Steve Shive said you should be deplatformed and banned from YouTube. Oh God, Steve Shives needs to just get a fucking Blumpkin. That's what that dude needs. He needs a Blumpkin. That's what he needs. If you don't know what a Blumpkin is, it's when you're taking a shit and someone sucks your dick. That's what he needs. Because what he needs the simultaneous pressure from a huge chode on his prostate while he's getting a blowjob. Maybe, just maybe, if he could simultaneously shit and come at the same time, Steve Shives might somewhere down the road loosen up enough to become a rational fucking human being. But let's be fair here, that one actually fucking happened. Noah, I have not gotten your message about Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, and I haven't seen it, so I can't tell you if it's good or bad or whatever. So I don't know. Thought they called it a bathroom boomer. No, Mr. Shadow, is called a Blumpkin. A Blumpkin. Would I rub my beard on Steve Shives for charity? That depends on where, how much, and what charity. So, you have a wasp in your apartment, tips on getting rid of it or killing it? I mean, that depends, Jack. Is it a little insect, or is it a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant? Don't think I don't know what a wasp is, dude. I grew up in the fucking 80s and 90s. I have a little bit of an education. I know I remember when wasps were still a thing. As for if it's a bug, try hairspray and a lighter. Actually, though, I think anything with alcohol would pretty much either piss it off or kill it. Or is that Yellow Jackets? I really don't know. Fuck. Sorry, I thought like something was crawling up my goddamn leg. Glass broken in urethra or toothpick under toenail and wall kick. I neither. When it comes to Steve Shives, do you think his wife beats him? I don't think she beats him physically, right? But I guarantee you she beats him emotionally. She kicks his ass like fucking Kathy Bates in Misery with emotions. She takes a sledgehammer to any ounce of will he has to live. And then he goes on the internet and he speaks her bidding. So like I said, Steve Shives is just a person. So, do I have a bug phobia? Not a bug phobia. Spiders freak me the fuck out, though. Have I seen a huntsman spider? Azrael's Entertainment. I did see that video of the spider carrying the mouse up the wall, and I was like, "Fuck that shit! I'm never going to Australia." Because in Australia, whatever's not you wants to kill you. Easy Logic. I did see the thing about the creator of Tokyo Ghoul and the fans. This is why I don't watch anime, man. Why I don't watch anime. Who would win in a fight between the brown buffalo? Would I fight Chank for charity? Chank would whoop my ass. That dude has a lot of pent up rage from being wrong all the time. Like he would just probably pummel on me like Tanya Harding and Nancy Kerrigan's kneecap. Blue Dog, send me an email. See if we can figure that out. Light up some ganj. I already can't do that. You'll learn about drop bears. I don't know what drop bears are. 2 people died from spider bites in Australia in the last 50 years. Wow. That's crazy. Yeah. Try hairspray. It will either take it down or it will get pissed. Thoughts on Mem's last video? I haven't. You're talking about Memory Holiday, right? I haven't seen her new video. Derek, I saw Logan twice in the opening weekend, once in IMAX. Oh yeah, I love that movie. Did I ever see the Harvest Men in the Tree video? No, I have not. Who'd win, young Alex Jones or Chank? No, Alex Jones now would beat the shit out of Chank. Like Alex Jones would just watch up and take off a shirt and be like, "You want to go? You want to go? I drink the water that turns the freaking frogs. Yeah, you want to go?" And then Chank would be like, "Of course, of course." And then they'd get into a fight, and it would be good for charity. I would watch that shit. I don't think. I mean, I don't think that we possibly could, get Get Chank and Alex Jones to box for charity? Do you think? I mean, Alex Jones was a bodybuilder, not a boxer. Chank is just an asshole. I wonder if we could coordinate a thing to get them to fight. Because Jones right now needs positive PR. He don't got it. Twice in the past couple months, he's had to issue apologies. He also lost his kid in that very, very visible custody battle, of which I feel bad for him in that regard. I do. I feel bad for Alex Jones in that regard. But Chank, I don't know. Chank will probably puss out. So Toasty Carrot, thank you very much. You are awesome too. King Loop says Matt would fuck Alex Jones on Super Male Vitality, confirmed. No. Maybe a cantaloupe, but no, not him. What do I think of Battle Angel Alita? I don't know what it is, but I'll find out next year when the movie comes out. James, sorry, I suck at accents. You didn't respond to support me when I challenged the sheriff for charity. You wait. When did you challenge a sheriff comic exchange? When the hell did that happen? Alex Jones is fueled by gay frogs, water filters, and yep. Hey, Alice, how's it going? Long time no see. Hope you're doing well. You still want to see Matt versus Sargon? Well, Doubting Tommy, I don't think we're going to fight, but it's entirely possible I'll be seeing Sargon in like a couple of weeks. I have never seen Narcos. I know it's canceled now, but I've never seen it. So I don't know about that one at all. Vorgard, you felt Alien Covenant was short? I felt it was shit. I'm out of water. I thought it was a little bit long, actually. Could have gone a little bit shorter. Yeah, I know Daddy Longlegs are poisonous, but Daddy Longlegs never really fight. TJ Kirk versus Mundane Matt, MMA for charity. Have you ever seen TJ in person? The very first thing I ever said to him when I met him last year was, my God, you're fucking tall. He towers over me. Like, he would just big spoon me, and I'd have no other option but to assimilate into his fucking body. Because that's clearly how TJ eats food. Can't confirm. Just heard the rumors. What's my take on Goku versus Superman? Goku. I think we all can agree on that one. Do I think the Alamo is going to refuse entry to the reporter? No, Strider Yoko. Actually, they tweeted him earlier today, and they said, hey, man, we hope you enjoy that stream. Tony, yes, I will tell a story. Let me go get a bottle of water because I'm out of tea and water. I will be right back. All right, give me 1 second. 1 second, I'll be back on. I cracked my drink here. All right. Had to go and get this and this because I'm going to talk to you guys. It's going to be a. So y'all want to hear? I don't smell like pee pee. I showered. Strider, I'll check out Narco. I just have not. I haven't seen it yet. A lot of shows I'm behind on right now. A lot of shows I'm just not super crazy into. Okay, hold on 1 second. Okay. All right. So, what kind of story do you guys want to hear? That's a question. What kind of story? Spell ICUP. Mm-hmm. Nice one, Noah. Nice one. How's my day going? Zombie Steve, it's been a very long day. I spent a lot of it battling people very frustratingly on Twitter over what is civil rights in this country. Apparently, people don't understand it or just don't want to. And then yeah, that's about it. So, oh, you want me to bring the Bryce, do you, Jack? Oh yeah, we're gonna be taking callers tonight here on Bryce's program, and yeah, anything from the kinky, freaky shit. Have you ever gotten a Blumpkin? I want to know about it. I might not even be Bryce right now. I apologize for those of you guys who are newcomers. Bryce is some weird kind of Ken Kniff knockoff character. I do. Uh, have I? How did I meet Jordan Owen? That's a very short story. Twitter. I watched. We just we met on Twitter. So, do I have a funny and entertaining job story? No. No. Okay. All right. You guys are gonna like this one. And seriously, if you like it, press one on the thing. Also, like up the video. I got 60 likes on here. 158 of you guys watching. I have 60 likes on this video. What's up? Got to get that to at least 100 because the story is great. I'm gonna take you guys back to first week of August 2004. I'm gonna go on a limb, and I'm just gonna guess right now. It was probably August 7th, 2004. Long time ago, 13 years ago. I'm going up here on my calendar to double check. August, and yeah, I was right. It was August 7th and shit. August 7th, 2004. Alien versus Predator had just come out on the big screen. We had it playing at my 2-screen drive-in in Santee, California. It was second show of the second night, busiest night of the week, and we had to wait for everyone to leave so we could clean the place up. And there's a couple hundred cars there, so we had a long time to wait. Now, we'd already finished up most of the work for the night. Box office was closed up. Snack bar was closed up. We were all good and just chilling. My boss comes over to me, and he tells me, hey, Matt, you see that couch out there? Right? And I look out halfway across the lot, and there's this off-white eggshell color couch that is sitting there, and people are on it. And I'm all like, yeah, I see the couch. I don't know what the fuck's wrong with the couch. He's like, I want you to go get me that couch. And I'm like, people are sitting on that couch. How can I go get you something people are sitting on? And he goes, well, that's not their couch. Someone left it here. They got out of their car. They jumped in it. I want it. And I'm like, well, then you go get it. And he goes like, I can't because I'm drinking a beer. I'm not even kidding you. Not even kidding you. We were all really drunk a lot back then. Always off the clock. Anyway. So I'm thinking, how do I get this couch? So I walk in the back and I get a pen and paper, a flashlight, and I come out and I grab 2 dudes who are hanging out. They don't even work there. They're just friends of people who hang out there. And they're big. One dude is like, I'm not even kidding you, 6'7". He actually played basketball at University of Wisconsin for like 2 years. And the other guy's a mongoloid. And I bring him over with me and I start shining a light on the back of the SUV next to the thing. And I'm just kind of shining the light on it. And I'm writing down the plate number. Well, I guess the attention of the people on the couch. People on the couch look back and they're like, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh yeah, don't worry about me at all. I'm just taking down your make, model, and plate number. And they're like, why? And these are all teenagers, by the way. And I'm like, oh, well, anytime anyone brings in a large ticket item, we like to have that information on hand. So in case they leave it, we can bill them appropriately. And they say, well, how much is the bill? And I'm like, oh, it's about $150 for the destruction and dismantling. And they go, what? And I'm like, yeah. And they go, but it's not our couch. And I'm like, well, you guys are using it. Clearly it's your couch. No, we just found it. Well, you guys are still using it. I didn't come over here ahead of time to get this information, so I'm sorry. It's your couch. And they're like, well, but what can we do? Or how much? They go, no. They say, how much does the bill cost? I'm like, $150. I already told you guys that. And then they go, well, what can we do? And I say, well, you have 2 options. You can get off the couch, or not. Yeah, you guys can take the couch with you and not get billed, or I can take the couch right now and you guys don't get fined. And so they jumped up, and I just went, and I snapped my fingers, very similar to how my videos when I fuck them up. And the two dudes walked over and they picked up the couch and they carried it back, maybe like, I not very far, maybe 60, 70 feet, right? Really set it down next to all of where we were hanging out at. I sit down in it. I light up a cigarette. I grab a fucking beer and I go back to watching the movie. And the kids were not too happy that we had done that. Now I can tell that story a lot better, but Slender Grill was apparently coming. So there's that. Shit. Almost knocked over my drink. So that's how I got the chair, the couch, the chair. So I got the fucking couch. It was oh, Iron Man Australia, you're still around? Oh, why don't you take a long walk off a short fear, you fucking koala banging asshole? Creepy story. Creepy story, sad story. I don't want to tell a sad story. No, Blue Dog, you have to email me. My business email is in the video description. So, James Randi, yeah, James, he was good, man. He was good. That documentary about him on Netflix is pretty fucking top notch. Have I ever been to the dedicated subreddits for mats? I have not. Sexy story. Beer, cake, pen, typewriter. Best trolling story. I don't really troll online, but I'm trying to think what I could do. What could I tell you? Trolling would be interesting. Ooh, sexy creepy story. I can't really tell a sexy creepy story. I don't think that really works out like that. Tell you the story how I lost my virginity. No, I don't want to tell you guys a 30-second story. So, Veronica, is that why all of a sudden there was a boost in viewers? YouTube took like, Jesus Christ, how long have I even been streaming? Like a 2 hour, 1 hour? Retro. This is not telling me how long I've been on. It doesn't really matter. Cop story. Have any good cop stories? No. I mean, like, I've run from the cops. Oh yeah, I'll tell you guys a story. Okay. So this is back in 2001. Fast and Furious had just come out, and in San Diego at that moment in time, it was the largest street racing scene, and in like the entire country, right? I mean, there's like all the military guys would buy these imports, they tune them up and they want to go race them, and the cops were always looking to bust people, always. And then if you go out on a Saturday night, there'd be like a row of like 300 cars or something like that trying to get to race sites. So no one ever actually raced. It was really just gas up the car and drive around all night, wait for the cops to come in and scare you off. And I know the cops really hated it. So real quick thing, Strider Yoko, I have farted during a video. It was actually a live stream. I never edited it, and I don't know what video it's on. So and so anyway, we're out there one night, because we were 19 and we wanted to go experience the nightlife where street racing was, because that's where the danger was. That's where the girls were. Because you watch Fast and Furious and it takes place in Los Angeles, which is only 140 miles north. And you're thinking like, man, if the girls are that slutty up there, what's gonna happen here? It's a movie. It's with movie logic and movie lies. Oh God, no, it's just no. Anyway, there's no girls there. Like, never saw any girls there. A lot of dudes looking for chicks. So it's basically a gigantic sausage fest. But the point is, we get up there and we go and we get in line and we drive on out. Search Justin Trudeau 50. I will check that one out. And I can't do a fart, but I probably could burp Chelsea. That's the thing. Anyway, so we're in this line again, like a couple hundred cars deep. We go to this place. It's called Cranston Road, and it's right next to a hazmat location. But there's some office buildings back there, and there's a solid quarter-mile stretch that's flat. You got a couple hundred cars. They're driving in. We get all ready. We go and we park behind one of the buildings. So then it's kind of like we're out of the way. If the cops roll up, we can just, everyone can take off. Cops chase them. We can then get out, no problem. There were two cars. There was some buddies of mine, two cars that we had behind this building. Of course, 5-0 rolls up, like 4 or 5 cars, scatters fucking everybody. And then, we're like, okay, well, let's wait for them to go, and then we'll go. And the thing is, the cops never actually left. They hung out. I think they knew we were back there, but they were waiting for us to show ourselves. And so when that happened, then that didn't happen right away. They took off. But the point is, like, they weren't walking around, but they were driving around, and they were waiting around, waiting and everything else. Now, one of my buddies, his name is Robert. This dude, I'm not kidding. This is like summer 2001, Saturday night, San Diego. And my friend is dressed head to toe camo jacket, camo boots, camo pants, everything, whatever. And then, like, we're out there at night. I'm dressed in a black jacket, black shirt, black pants. We're all dressed dark because we have to be, I guess, running around and shit. And my buddy's in full blown camo gear. Like, you would think he was in the military. It's like, what are you doing on patrol out here? And shit, this is also prior to 9/11 by like just like a nut hair prior to 9/11. So anyway, my buddy Chris was also wearing camo pants that they were like this fucking. Okay, remember back like 17 years ago, 16, 17 years ago, when like the raver pants was the thing, right? Does any of you remember that when raver pants were popular? Like, not just for raving, it was for like everyday wear. Like, hey, do you like a pocket that goes from your kneecap down to your fucking ankle? Raver pants. Like, do you like looking like you're floating everywhere? Raver pants. Do you like wearing clothing that will never ever get you laid? As I learned firsthand, raver pants. Like, that's a lot of that kind of shit. So anyway, he's over there, camo raver pants. Still don't quite know why those existed. And of course, you've got he's in like a white t-shirt. He would stand out in the darkness. He's fucking white dude anyway. He's really, really pale. Okay, get your mind out of the gutter, racists. And so they're called Jinkos. They had a fucking name. Thank you for giving me back that information. I thought that I had lost it. I in fact wish I had. Oh, that was a bad, weird time in my life. But the point is, okay. So Chris is over across the street, over the divide in the little forest. Now he tries to run back over to come see us because we were directly across the road, hiding behind some shrubbery. And so as Chris is running, cops spot him, cops see him, cops grab him. Now this is like prior to cell phones, so everyone having a cell phone. And all of a sudden, Chris is, we don't know where one of our friends is. We don't know where the other cops are. We've got to, like, we don't know what the fuck is going on. And then so we waited around for like 15, 20 minutes. And we're going like, fuck it. We'll go back to the Texaco everyone hangs out at. We'll wait there. And then we will, we'll get a hold of him there. Maybe he'll figure out how to get back to me. JB, I was asleep. And then I woke up and I thought I was watching a movie. So anyway, we're waiting around for like another minute or two. Everyone's like nervously smoking their cigarettes. Like, fuck. Cops have already like driven by a couple of times, like gone to the hazmat center and looked into the back parking lot and could see cups and drinks and everything else on top of the car, but no people. And so then we hear this rustling noise, right? This rustling, and it's like above us, like the next block up, and there's like all like this ice plant, which is kind of like a weird ground ivy sort of thing. And then we see Chris just leap and go and like just land in the ivy, roll down and be like, let's get the fuck out of here. So what happened to Chris was Chris had actually been dropped off at the Chevron about 2 blocks up so he could call for a ride. Cops didn't bust him. They just got him out of there and wanted to scare him. And so he ran his way back to us. And as he got back to us, the next round of racers were coming in after being scared off, whatever. And so we were able to get out and go about our day. Then about 2 weeks later, I was out there with my friend Brian. and Chris was there, and then a friend of mine named Don. And Don was working at In-N-Out Burger at the time, doing very well for himself. In-N-Out always paid more money than other fast food places, and so he bought himself a 2000 Hyundai Accent and he had it custom painted red with a gold pearl. Very pretty car for what it was, like 94 horsepower or some shit, 4-cylinder fucking engine. But the Hyundai Accents back in the early 2000s were kind of all the rage for us young people at the time. So you have to understand that back then it was fashionable to have one, and you could even take it to like the races in order to basically get people to look at you and go, man, what kind of engine you got in that fucking Hyundai Accent? Like, I'm not kidding. People would like, again, these were just kids who had money and were bored and would go up there and then just like want to hang out, look cool, and hope they get their dick sucked that night. That is precisely what would happen. And so we were out there trying to find the races. We're there with Brian and Chris, and Brian's 1978 Mustang Cobra 2 with a whopping 190 some horsepower, whatever the fuck it was, maybe 202. I don't know. The point is that more horsepower than the goddamn fucking Hyundai. Anyway, we're dicking around for a while, lighting boxes on fire. Don't ask me why. It was early 2000s, and no one was around. No cops, no racers, no nothing. So we go to leave because there's no one there. There's no one there. We go to leave, and as we're going to leave, we get on the road where the people are racing. Brian revs around Don, just speeds around him. Don speeds up. They get to the light. Everyone stops. No one even really broke the speed limit. 5-0 pulls Don and I over, right? Pulls us over right away. And then I'm trying to pull up my phone fast enough to call Brian to be like, you need to get the fuck out of Dodge. But then Brian's a good dude. Brian is one of my best friends. This dude, I miss this guy a lot and everything. But this is one of his coolest moments. He he drove back around to ask the officer what was wrong, right? He came back to check on his friends instead of bolting. And as a result of that, he ended up getting pulled over, having his car impounded for 30 days, and having to spend about probably $3,000 in fines, as well as a year's worth of probation for not driving on certain roads at certain times in San Diego. Yeah, because he just drove around his friend and the cop was looking to fill his fucking quota and busted him for racing. Don thankfully took the deal that they offered him and like didn't have to pay anything extra other than the $1,000 for the towing. Brian, for some reason, wanted to fight it. I mean, I get it. I get him wanting to fight it, but he didn't hire a lawyer. He thought like he would just fight it himself, which shows you the tenacity of this person and everything. This is a guy too. This is a guy. Okay, so check this out, right? So Coronado, California, I don't know if you guys have heard of it. It's the man-made island there at the Navy base and shit. That was where I hung out a lot back in the day. A lot of my friends were from Coronado. We hung out there all the time. I was known on that island. I mean, I'm not saying I was popular. I was just a little well known. I was just well known and shit. All right. So I'm well known. And we're hanging out there one night, my friend Noah and I. And this car pulls up in front of the Night and Day Cafe. And keep in mind, this is like 2:30 in the morning. Like no one else is around. Noah and I are just chilling, shooting the shit, smoking cigarettes. Car pulls on up. Out pops Daniel. Daniel is a no good honky who I knew and my friends all know. And he's just a dumbass. No one likes him. He's a fucking klepto. He stole my goddamn CDs. I know he stole my goddamn CDs because I fucking douche. Anyway, the point is, Daniel rolls up. And he's like, what are you doing here? And I'm like, what are you doing here? Isn't your wife, like going to be having kids soon? Through the grapevine, through the grapevine, you heard these things were happening. So yes, Strider, Coronado's where all the rich kids lived. Actually, yeah, not all the rich kids, a lot of them. A lot of retired Navy commanders' children. Imagine the stick or the entitlement of their ass. So, no, Tara, I didn't stab anyone, I don't know when I would have. But anyway, so Daniel rolls on him. I'm like, what's going on? He's, oh, my wife's in labor. That's what it was. He's like, my wife's in labor. And I'm like, so what the fuck are you doing in Coronado? Because he's in the Navy at the time. And his wife would be having birth at the Balboa Hospital, which is in Balboa Park, which is not Coronado Island. It's Jesus Christ. But Daniel wanted to go to Coronado because he needed to find cigarettes because there are no convenience stores between Balboa and Coronado. It's just, this is the kind of person he is. He's the kind of guy that would travel to like, you know, fucking Colorado for some pure fucking snow for his kids instead of just going up to the mountains nearby and getting it. You know what I mean? But he would do it because he would like feel like it would be good. I don't know. That was a bad analogy. He's just a douchebag. I'll get to that too. So Daniel and his ex-wife had the one daughter that night, and then I think is like now 14 or something. And Jesus Christ, I'm getting old. And then they had twins. Okay, they're living together, and then Brian, aforementioned friend, moved in with them because he got like, you know, he was having a bit of a bad spell. And Noah from earlier was a very bad influence on that. All these people, all sorts of shit. And so Daniel and his wife ended up breaking up. Now, when Daniel and his wife split, that to Daniel, that basically meant any and all obligation to his children is gone. He went out, he bought a PlayStation 3 because those had just come out, you know, and like was like, you know, selling sex toys in like the vending machines. Like he was refilling sex toy vending machines. Anyway, Brian and the ex, her name is Megan, they ended up hooking up. And in 2010, they got married. While she was pregnant with their first child. They had another child since then. They now live out in Texas. And Daniel is nowhere to be found. And the reason why I'm telling you all this shit is Brian is a good dude. Brian likes to fight for things that he feels he could win. He's got that stubbornness about him. But when shit hits the shit, he is there to take care of even another man's family. And Brian never thought he would get married or have kids. So that's the whole thing with that. That's what I'm trying to tell you is like sometimes your friends who you want to kind of jokingly say are dumb shit sometimes, like then you kind of think like all the cool things that they've done and the good things. I just got to give him a call and be like, I don't want to tell him like I miss him, but I haven't seen him since like about a year and a half now. So you know how it is. And I'm going back to San Diego in like a month and a half, and he doesn't live there anymore. So it's kind of like, you know, whatever. Yeah, Mr. Shadow, I mean, that's what he was telling us. He told us, he was lying. He told us that his job was to restock sex toy vending machines. Now this kind of gives you an idea of how much of a piece of shit this guy was. I found this out when I got a call from Brian, who didn't have a car at the time because he had lost his license due to DUIs. And he called me up and he's like, hey, can you come pick Megan and I up from the mall? Cause she worked at the mall because I don't have a car. And I'm like, yeah, no problem. You know, jump in my ride, go grab him and shit. We go for lunch. We hang out for a while, go back out to the apartment. Daniel was watching the kids. Or well, one was watching the other two. Daniel was playing on the PlayStation. He's like, I go to PlayStation 3 for Killzone. Hey, you guys want to see my new girlfriend? No, like seriously, he's not even like divorced from his ex yet. And he's already like bragging, like, you guys want to see my new girlfriend? My new girlfriend, she's great. What he does is this is back when we all had MySpace. Logs into MySpace. And he brings up some random profile, like some random damn profile of some random fucking chick. Not even on her profile didn't even say California, right? It could have been like dumb fuckistan for all I know. This wasn't California. And it's like a picture of her and her mom like at glamour shots or some shit. And like that was it. Some name, might have been Ashley, Tiffany, Bambi, Mozambique. Could have been any name in the fucking world, doesn't matter. And she, you know, no friends except for Daniel. It's clearly a fake account. Daniel is a consistent one-upper. You know the type I'm talking about, right? The type of guy that's just like, you go like, oh man, I ran like a mile today. And he's like, I ran 1.5 miles because you're a dirty faggot. Like that's the kind of guy he was, you know, like he was that one-upper because he's such a bitch. And so then so then, you know, he goes, I asked him, I said, all right, Daniel, what are you doing for work? What are you doing for work these days? And he goes like, oh, well, I'm stocking vending machines. I'm like, oh, that's not bad. That's cool, man. Like, what kind of vending machines? Like, you know, like, or where at or whatever. And he's like, oh, it's sex toy vending machines. And I'm like, ¿por qué? Right? You're like, what? And so no, he fucking, I'm not kidding you. This dude reaches, like he's got his bag where like his PlayStation was. He opens it up, and inside the bag, Corona trouser, and inside the bag were just like 4 or 5 completely sealed pocket vaginas, right? And he's just like, you guys want pocket pussy? You guys want pocket pussy? I took these from work and get more. It's all good. Like, do you want pocket pussy? And I'm just like, no, I got my right hand, dude. It's fucking fine. I'm good. Thank you. It's seasoned. It's practice. I'm moisturized. We're good. But whereas, like, Noah was with us and he takes me, he's like, oh, I'll give this a go. In retrospect, I feel like I should have grabbed one just for the sake of like, I wonder. But then it's also like, I'm pretty sure Daniel, even though they were sealed, had already had sex with them. So that's the kind of guy this dude is. That's the kind of guy Daniel was. And like he's in his, like why Brian is a good dude. Like Brian is a really good dude in this case. Like even the girls that he did that were Megan's kids from their marriage, he adopted them. Like they have his last name. They were adopted. They did everything because Daniel hasn't even been involved in his kid's life in well over 10 years. He doesn't come around. He doesn't send child support. Megan doesn't go after child support because she's like, he's not going to pay it. And she's got Brian and they make it work themselves and everything else. And like, that's cool. That's a good story. Those kids are getting a good dad, from a guy who didn't even really know his dad because his dad wasn't around. His dad never took responsibility. His dad, so this is the saddest thing too, is Brian and his dad reconnected. Or when Brian was around like 19 or 20, his dad was a bit of an alcoholic, right? Like the good time party alcoholic. And they reconnected and they were kind of getting to know each other again. And they did this for a couple of years. And then his dad passed away. Like it was a while ago, but that really devastated Brian. And after that, that's kind of when he took on being the father role for these girls. Cause like, Daniel wasn't around and like, they didn't have anybody else. And that kind of like brought him in. At least that's my interpretation of the story. I could be wrong, but yeah, he's a good dude. He's a good guy. Now I'm reminiscing. I kind of miss him. This is a fucking dude. This is fucking Brian. Jesus Christ. He was dating this chick. Oh God, I feel bad for this too because I still kind of half blame myself for this scenario playing out. Okay, so you ever know like not everything that you do, like the actions that take place from what you have done, are your fault. And I have, Tony, I beat somebody up. It was when I was in Boy Scout camp in the 5th grade. My fucking roommate, my fucking tent mate, my fucking bunk mate, right, would not pick up his dirty skid marked underwear, right? He would just fucking throw them around. I'm like, dude, we're not at your fucking house. Pick up your goddamn shit. He's like, I'm not going to do, you fucking make me. And I'm all like, really? Because I'm, 10. Apparently this is fighting. I think I went like this. I don't know how to fucking fight. And then he took he did the whole like super punch thing, like a kick and whatever, I think at me or whatever. And I kind of blocked it. And then I just went in once and like clocked him in the mouth. And he's just like, I fucking busted his lip and everything on his tooth because he was a bitch. And then I'm like, pick up your shit, and then like he got mad. He didn't rat me out though. He fucking cleaned it up and everything else. Granted, this was also at the end of the day, like the end of the trip. And I had to bunk with this guy for a whole week. So there's a lot of shit building up there, but I'm not a fighter. I'm definitely a lover. So Digamy says, every Matt Jarvis story was blank year and blank movie had just come out. Dude, you have no fucking idea. You have no fucking idea. I was sitting there after Pirates of the Caribbean the other night, talking with my stepmom, my girlfriend, and my sister. And they're like, when did the other movies come out? And I'm like, oh, Pirates of the Caribbean was like July 3rd, 2001. And they're like, how do you know that? I'm like, well, here's what happened, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, well, what about the next ones? I'm like, if I remember correctly, the second Pirates of the Caribbean, it was definitely July 2006. Probably right around the same time. I don't remember the exact day on that one. But then like she's like, oh, what about the third one? I'm like, oh, the third one's like May 26, 2007 and everything. And like the reason why I know this, and the reason why I do this is because when you spend 1/3 of your life working in the movie theater industry, when you spend a long part of your life, doing that, you learn to base your entire existence around when movies come out. All right, if I want to go on a trip and it's during the summer, I have to look to see what movie came out, what's coming out before, what's coming out after, when can I afford to not be there? Everything surrounds Fridays, man. Sometimes Wednesdays, like once or twice during the summer, you might get a Wednesday release. Sometimes there's been more, but really they're fucking assholes. Then there was that whole year they were releasing them on Thursday. Anyone remember that? I think it was like 2013. All of a sudden, every studio was like, not coming out on Friday no more. It coming out on Thursday. Because what it was is they wanted to do like the preview night, right? The preview night stuff. They wanted to move it up a day early in order to get some more money and shit. And it just didn't work out the way that they wanted it to because people still had fucking school and work and everything else. And so they just went back to doing Thursday night shit. But anyway, when you spend that much time, you base your life around that. And that's why it might start a story. And I'm also trying to set a period of time, man. You know, like I could take you back to my very first night at the drive-in. It was 2001 and Tomb Raider had just come out. Not kidding you. It was June 15th, 2001. Tomb Raider came out. First night I worked at the theater. And the reason why I remember that is that theater is very important to me. The theater's been part of my life for a long time. Worked there 9 years, almost 10 years, I think. And went through a lot of shit there. Managed that place. You know, left that place for 3 years. Went to LA to follow my dreams. That failed. But the drive-in was there waiting for me, bring me back with open arms and shit, help put me back together because my entire life had fallen apart. I love that fucking place. I love that place more than I love a lot of things on this earth. And the people there and the people who are still there after all these years are my fucking family. And so it's really cool to see, like, to think back to that, because that's also when I can think of like, oh, this event might have happened and this thing might have happened then or right around that time. And then like it's reminiscing about the good times. We fucked with people, the good times. We got really hammered and decided we wanted to burn a bale of hay, or the time we got firecrackers and we ran the trail of fucking gasoline across the parking lot and then lit the trail of gasoline so light the firecrackers, or the time we set the dumpster on fire. Well, one guy set the dumpster on fire and then I, like an idiot, ran all the way back to where our fire extinguisher was. We had the big, big heavy duty one. And then I ran all the way back to the dumpster. That was like fucking 15-foot high flames at this point. And I tell everyone, I do the dramatic, like, stand back. I got this. And I pull out the hose and I aim it at the fire and I yank out the pin and throw like it's a fucking grenade, and I'm like, firefighter. And then nothing came out. It's like, psst. Like, what the fuck? Psst. Then it dawned on me that a week earlier we had to put out that bale of hay we lit on fire with that fire extinguisher, and no one bothered to replace it. So yeah. There's also the time you like poured gasoline on a puddle of water to see how that would work out. I mean, we burned a lot of shit out there. We burned a lot of shit. Oh my god. So it's good times. Oh man. All right, you guys get any final questions? Because I've been on this thing now for like 2 years. So 2 years, 2 hours. I want to go hunt Slender Girl some more, so I gotta go. But if you guys have any questions, do you remember that video I did about descriptive audio in movie theaters? Oh, right. Yeah, they do it on Netflix, actually, believe it or not. Daredevil was the first show that did that because of the hearing impaired part of it. That would be very distracting for the descriptive audio in the theaters. I wouldn't pay to see that. Thoughts on the Pitch Black movie? Loved it. What's the meaning of life? It's this. Have I watched The Postman starring Bruce Willis? I've watched The Postman starring Kevin Costner. Will I fax you a pizza? No. So 2 years ago, Mundane Matt told a story that changes humanity. If that's the Gamergate shit, it would be nearly 3 years ago. I don't think what I did changed humanity. I don't think what happened to me necessarily did. I don't know if I had much of an impact in shit. It gets compiled into a lot of different events, but I don't quite know if it necessarily is like, like it's a big deal to me because that DMCA kind of propelled me forward and allows me to do this, talk to you guys for a couple hours and shit. But I'm a little bit, I've always been kind of wondering about how important it was in the grand scheme of things. And to me, definitely, but other people and shit. So, but yeah, I mean, it was one scandal, and I think there might be another one. I had this weird feeling that this whole Wonder Woman thing was gonna like turn into something bigger than it was. Maybe I made a bigger deal of it than it needed to be, but I felt really passionately about that, it being a civil rights violation. What games do I like to play? Not this one. It's just I suck at it. No, I like third-person shooters. Have I ever had a paranormal experience? Yeah, I have had a paranormal experience. Experience. Yeah, it was. I've had a couple weird things. One big one, and I've told this story before, and it was oh shit, I don't know, 2007, I think, 2008. This summertime, and I'm out at this local haunted joint called 5-5, right? And it's where everyone goes out there to party and shit. I'm out there with some friends from Coronado. We're sitting there. Everyone's drinking except for me. I don't really drink. So everyone's drinking except for me. And then we're sitting out there in like this little, like, overhang part, like this, there's some overgrowth and everything and whatever else. So you got that. And we're sitting there in the pitch dark, just chit-chatting. And all of a sudden we hear this like coming over here. Right. And we're like, whoa, what the fuck is that? So everyone's like, all right, shut the fuck up, And then we hear it over here. It's over here and over here and shit, right? We're like, what the fuck is going on? Like, is there a grill over there? Right. And so we don't know. And then all of a sudden it goes dead silent. And then everything around us erupts. Trees moving, branches rustling, leaves flying everywhere, noise galore for like 10 seconds or something like that. I don't know how long, but like 10 seconds. And then we stop, and then it's just dead silent again. And everyone's like, there are 4 of us there, and I am sober. Not right now, I'm sober. I mean, then I was sober. And yeah, it just ended up doing this whole fucking thing where it's just like it was, we don't know what it was. And then we hear it again. We hear like the, and we look over, turn the flashlight on, and it was a skunk walking the other direction. It's weird shit, man. But weird shit happens out there. I've been out there before at like 3:00 in the morning, not back in the bushes, but like on the road, and heard a kid crying for his mom. 3 of us heard it. And we took the fuck off. So there's something out there. I don't know what it was, Tracy. There's some weird shit out there. Some weird shit. So it's Glender Skrill. Any interest in the new Prey game? I want to play it, but I'll wait for it to drop in price. I got a lot of shit on my plate right now to play as it is. So what's scary about hearing a kid cry for his mom in the middle of the woods at 3:00 in the morning? Nothing. And it wasn't like a kid crying like, mommy, mom. It wasn't like that. It was like some like melodic shit. That is just great. Yes, you do exist. I see you. Or if I was like the gorilla Amy, I see you, like Stephen Hawking's on her arm and shit. Friday the 13th, Let's Play streams. I'll probably do that tomorrow night. No, Kevin, I don't plan to make any video about the G7 climate agreement. But yeah. I can't do the voice, Tony. I'm sorry. I can't do the voice. So I think I'm going to wrap this one up. I'll be back on tomorrow night, a little early, 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And so we roughly 21 and a half hours from now. So I'll see you guys later. Hey, have yourself a great day and peace out.